Hi, everyone. This is Mark, and welcome to the Day Trader's Quest, where I share with you my trades every day and essentially the journey I'm on for discipline, consistency, and ultimately profitability. Let's just start it out with today's trades because today was a great day. I did break one rule, which I'll talk about here later on, but overall, super happy with today. As you can see on the screen, I came out with a little over $400 in profit. Total trades 13, little high. I'll talk to you a little bit about how I probably should have reduced that a little bit. And then ultimately, it was a great way for me to finish the week. I won't be trading tomorrow due to a commitment I've got, but to finish the week where I'm at now, especially after the 2 red days I had last week, it's got me green on the month, which I am ecstatic about. So without further ado, let's go take a look at those trades and we'll walk through how the day went. All right. So first trade I took was right about 750 this morning. And this was one where I think I could have done a little bit better with. It was on POLA. I had been watching it a little bit as it came down here. It had come up to about 234. It came back down to about 2. I thought about coming in there. Right about here is when my kids were getting ready for school. So I missed this whole move right here. And it came back down. I saw this and I said, you know what? I'm going to go in for this for the break of 250, but also, it's a little bit of a pullback. And so I get in about 750 and it just kind of stalls out and it kind of comes down. I'm like, well, shoot, this isn't working out. And ultimately, when it does hit 8 o'clock, I end up getting out when it comes up to, about, what was that? Just shy of in this case of 250. So I got in at what was that? My entry was about 245. I'm out at about 248. I'm only in this case, or 249, because I'm only in on this case on about 500 shares, which I reduced a little bit today just to help me with some of that risk management that's there. My regret here, of course, is I got this trade for the break of a hold of the $0.50. I did not hold it for the break of the $0.50. I lost out here on up to really to about 64, 65. I left about 15, 16 cents on the table. So that was unfortunate. I should have held it longer. It is what it is. There's a little bit of the fact that it didn't work and it was still holding there. I just got scared. And so for me, I think it's going to be one of my big things I work on is how do I fight the fear that comes out? Now, my next trade was my best of the day, the one I was really excited about. And this is on SPRC. So SPRC came out with some news. It had come up. I watched it come up. I'd gotten the alerts when it was around here. It had come back down. It was going up. I thought about getting in here, but I wasn't sure. I'd seen enough stocks recently who kind of double topping it, coming back down, that it came back up. And as it got closer to 5, I said, you know what? I will buy this for the break of 5. And I put 500 shares down and I punched it at about 4. What was that? I got in at 4. Oh, where are you? Oh, no, I got in at 5 was my average. And I'm right in at 5 and I'm out at 536 for, nearly, in this case, 36R. I was really happy with this. I only had 500 shares. Good risk management. If I would have had 1,000 shares, it would have been way better. But, it is what it is. And I'm excited about this trade. I was really happy with it. I then got into this kind of multi-trade situation with ORBS. So ORBS comes up with some news. It is pretty heavily, it's a heavier stock in that it has more. I think the floats are around like 40 million or something like that. And so for me, it was already looking a little heavy, but I said, you know what, let's give this a shot. I came in, I bought this for a bit of a pullback right here, right at the top. I should have waited for it to actually pull back versus getting in at the top here. So if I would have waited, it got me down 6 cents. It would have got me a little bit more, but I got it. It punches up. I get out because my goal in this case was 5 cents. And so I get out, get my 5 cents. I was happy. And I'm pretty glad. I'm glad I did at some level because it didn't shot back down. I did take advantage of that shooting down though, and I bought at the bottom as it kind of broke through VWAP. I bought it with the hope of it going back up. Now my regret here is I didn't hold it. It went up, and I just got rid of it as it came back up. I could have held that up to about 120. I went out at 108. So again, I left about 12 cents on the table. So holding my winners longer is going to be one of my big big moves here going forward. How do I do that? And how do I get out of my losers faster? I then went on a journey of small little trades with ORBS that really didn't net me anything. It was a lot of profit and really loss focused. I didn't want to lose anything. And so when anything looked like it could go against me, I didn't want to lose. Because one of my rules was if I lose, I'm done for the day. So I was going for it to break out into a new high here. It got really heavy. I mean, it was 20, 30,000 share orders on the tape. So I mean, it wasn't moving very fast. And so I got in. It didn't do what I wanted to do. I got out. It did then continued. It didn't drop. I then go ahead and I do the same thing. I get it off that just like I did on the one stock that dropped below VWAP. I was going to get it for the curl back up to VWAP. It went up. It didn't hold. It came right back down. I sold for again only $10, 1 penny here as we're thinking about it. I then even have a break even trade as it again is playing at VWAP. It is not able to get over and hold VWAP, and I just don't want to take that L. So I'm like, nope, I'm going to get out. I got out with a break even on that one. And then I had another 10-cent trade here where again, it had just come up to VWAP, over VWAP. I tried to see if it would then continue up because you can see this little almost this little pullback happening here. And I got in right here hoping for a bounce up. Didn't give it to me. I did get a penny off of it. And so it is what it is. So this was one that I'm a little disappointed on my performance. I think I could have done a lot better on, but and some of those, 40 of those dollars, probably I shouldn't have even done those trades, those $10 ones. But it is what it is. Now, my last stock I traded was RBNE. RBNE, I'm generally happy with, but I left a lot of opportunity on the table. So let's start out with this first one, $30. I bought it in with about, 500 shares at 195. I broke it. I got it for, again, looking for the break of the whole dollar. It did not take off right away. I ended up getting out at about $2. Actually, where was my entry and exit on this one? 195 and 201. So I did get out at like 201 here. So I got out, and that's what it was. Because I'm only in 500 shares. I was looking for 5 cents. So technically, my goal was around $25. So I still should have. This is when I should have went in on 1,000 shares. I didn't. But it is what it is. My regret here is I didn't sell. All right, I didn't hold. Look at that. It goes from 201. Again, breaks the dollar, goes to 212. I left 10 cents on the table. RBNE, we've got another one here. This one I did get back in for as it was climbing. So after I'd gotten out, I got back in a small micro pullback on the 15-second chart at around 210, hoping for a push to 220. I got out to about 213 and it kind of started stalling. And so I went ahead and I jumped out, which I'm happy with that, but I did get in a little high on that one. So I'm upset about that one. So I did have a loss today, folks. I did. I took a loss on RBNE, and here's what happened. I was watching that 1 minute, and even on the 15-second, this was looking like a nice little wedge where you were getting it. Now, right here on my Webull app, it looked a lot better. It looked like I was getting higher green candles, lower red candles. So I have to look at the difference between TradeZilla and Webull to see what the chart really looks like. But needless to say, it looked like a wedge that I could potentially get in at and potentially push it up, especially as this candle finished. Yes, it finished red, but it finished up super high. So I got in. It actually then went up to about 212 from 209. So I was like, okay, it's doing what I want to do. And then it comes back down and then it slams back down, goes down to about 201. I decided I'm going to pull the trigger and get out when it kind of stalls. It hesitates for a moment right about $2, which I'm glad I did. I basically, I took about a 5 cent loss, a little less. Or should I say 10 cent loss on 500 shares. Was my max. And so I was glad. I'm glad I pulled the trigger when I did. I wish it would have worked out, but it didn't. I didn't then continued to trade. So here's my logic here, folks. I know one of my rules is that if I go red, I should stop. But at this point, I had already had a good cushion on the day. I was feeling pretty good about, where I was at. I think it was probably up about $250 already. So I was like, all right, here's my rule. I typically, when I'm trading with 1,000 shares, and so my red is 1R, which is $100. So this is all right. I've lost 45. I can lose a max up to $55 more. If the next trade puts me down $50, I sell and I'm done. And then I'm still finishing the day at $200. I'm having a good day. And so I says, okay, I made that deal with myself. I says, I'll continue to trade. So I did. And I went ahead and I took another one. So RBNE then dropped. Again, it came back down to about 84. I got in there for a reversal here as it kind of comes down. And so I got in and I get out with about 5 cents on 1,000 shares. So I was happy with that. It got me back what I lost. So awesome. I wasn't happy with the fact that I sold so fast though. So this is when I get a look at that opportunity. If I would have just held that 1,000 shares from 86 all the way to 209, that's $300 right there. I made $50. It's awesome, but there's a lot more potential that was there. And so again, the theme here is how do I hold these winners longer? I cut my loser fast, which is great. How do I hold those winners longer? I then did one more trade on RBNE as it was going for that break of VWAP. Again, it comes up here to a 1. It was a perfect setup too. Look at that. I mean, VWAP's right about 2. You've got, it's going to come up right. It would be a break of $1 and a VWAP break. Like that's a great setup there. I take it. I get out after about, in this case, 6 cents of movement. I'm happy with that. It gets me over. It made me profitable for the day. But I left all that on the table. Look at that. And again, I went from 7. It was another 10 cents. So again, I've got to look for those reversals. And I believe that was let's see, that was the last trade of the day. So if I go to my trade view again, or my day view here, oops, not mentor mode, day view. You can see overall, great day. I'm actually incredibly excited about it. It was a great way to finish the week for me because I'm not trading tomorrow. And again, it got me to a point where I'm green for the month. So did I overtrade? Yeah, I think I overtraded a little bit. There's a couple of those I shouldn't have taken. Am I okay with that rule break? I am. Because again, I kind of looked at it as I still had some opportunity out there. If it presented itself, awesome. But I need to be incredibly risk averse. And I think that's going to be the thing I've got to watch. I can't just break my rules all the time. But if it makes sense in the moment, I should totally be willing to do it. So overall, great day on my journey to profitability, consistency, and really discipline. I hope you all saw similar results this week. Saw some of yes, it was volatile, but at the same time, it wasn't. So I hope you were able to find what worked for you. And I wish you best of luck in your trading tomorrow. And I will see you all back here on Monday for, was that the 16th? Well, I'll give you my recap then. And with that said, good luck on your journey for profitability, consistency, and discipline. We'll see you later.